I am very sad with the politics in the US today. They are fighting with so many things that are not even important, and they don't have time and focus on what it's important. So I really wish that the US government had more time and energy to dedicate to what it's important. And one of those things that is important today, it's AI. And I think we could lose a great opportunity because we're focusing the wrong things and trying to fight internally is starting to figure out how to fight externally. AI and education. I think we have completely missed the eye on the ball of technology and AI, but that goes back to society. That goes back to entitlement. That's why in the US, everyone wants to be an influencer. And if you go to kids in China, they want to be a rocket scientist, right? That's a message we need to bring. We're telling people that being an influencer, it's better and it's nicer and whatever than being a rocket scientist. I think that's wrong. I think it's a society message that we need to send the right message to our younger generations for them to do the right thing. We're reading this article that in NPR that you mentioned, that there's some schools that are removing grades because it was too stressful for kids and the next generations. I think that's scary that they're doing that. So the other day I was having some drink with a friend and we're talking about some of the things. And we're talking about what's happening with Russia and the war and all that. And he said something that it really kind of made a point, caught my attention. Imagine we have to go to war today and you have to go to war with a lot of young people. Think about the generations that we have today. And they're the ones having to get rifles, whatever, and go to war. I'll be scared. Not to be disrespectful to the generations younger, but I will be scared. We're way less manual. We don't know how to do a lot of things in the wild. We don't know how to use weapons. Like there's a lot of things that we don't know how to do. I remember when I was a kid, my father used to take me these hunting trips and things like that, that it was dad and boys trip. And I think it's important. As a male, I think it's important. I think it's important that we discover the wild. You see every other society, there's an awakening. Like in the Jewish community, you have to have your bar mitzvah, and it's when you become a man. Most of the societies, they had this point in life that the kids, for them to become men, they had to go to nature and have an awakening in nature. They had to hunt an animal, or they had to have this very aggressive and dangerous thing they have to do. And they have to conquer that. It's part of who we are. It's part of the development that we've been having it for thousands of years. And now it's, no, remove the grades because they're going to feel too bad. I think that's dangerous for society. I think it's very dangerous what we're telling our next generations. And I think we could get into trouble. And that's what kills hegemonies or countries. Countries and hegemonies, they don't get killed from the outside. They get killed from the inside. They have an implosion internally and someone else takes over you. It's like the Roman Empire. It was not killed by anyone else. It was the Romans killed themselves. And then someone else took helm of being the next hegemony in the world. So most societies, after they've been the dominant in the world, they get killed from the internal, from the inside, not from the outside. Can the US implode from the inside? Yes, it can. And that will lose the dominance in the world. I am not sure it's going to happen. I could be wrong, but I think the amount of innovation in the US and the amount of immigration coming to the US could balance it out. And that's why, and I'm surprised to say, and all the heads of all the larger companies, they're from India, Indian immigrants. And it's not second generation Indians in the US. No, it's first generation. I'm blown away. See, out of the top 10 technology companies in the US, 7 have someone that is a first generation from India as the head of the company. And the US is one of the few economies that has always done it through innovation and immigration. And you get all these people and you have a huge inflow of people around the world that they want to come to the US and be that. And coming back, one more point that I see that it's, I think, very good for the US. The US is one of those few countries that if they raise their hand and we said, we want immigration, who wants to move into the US? You get people all over the world wanting to move, and they could have selective immigration and select the best and brightest of all the world and bring a lot of people. As an example, China doesn't have that capability. Japan doesn't have that capability. Dubai did that, and now it's losing. Now people are going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Riyadh is really becoming the new Dubai in the Arab world, and they're starting to pull the best and brightest. I think the US will always, or at least for the next future years, they're still going to be able to bring the best and brightest around the world from innovation, from immigration, and still get a lot of very determined population to continue having innovation and leading the world. You're mentioning that India could do it and people stay in India. Yes, it can happen. Indeed, it happened with China. I lived in Hong Kong 1997 and 98, and I was surprised of the amount of people I met in Hong Kong and in China that came to the US, studying US schools were growing here, and they said, now we're going to go back to China. There's way more opportunities for us, innovation in China, and they went back to China. And that's part of the rise of China last 20 years. So yes, that can happen. I think going back to whatever I said some 20 minutes ago or so is not just one thing that creates business. It's a combination of things together. What is happening in China today is that the rule of law and the political system is not as stable as people thought. Yes, technology is moving faster and in great speed. The market is growing fast and each other market, yes. But the rule of law and the political system is not there. And now you're seeing some Chinese that were born in China, came to the US and studied whatever, they went back and now they're coming back to the US. Or they're coming back to the West, not necessarily the US.